Why? Why now? I mean, I'm not mad, per se, but it's been 5 years. 5 years now, everybody trying to watch it. Thank you, 2020. You have been mostly depressing. When I mention prison school, I should be met with uncontrollable laughter and rampant tears flying out of people's balls. Yes, in that analogy, the eyeballs are all laughing too. Even normies who don't watch anime will find themselves on their knees begging for the sweet release of this insurmountable joy they randomly started experiencing. Now, this may be my overly analytical brain speaking, but I do think that there are deeper theories in play when it comes to prison school and its eclectic style of comedy. But to understand it, we need to take a quick look into the past and dissect what was known as the Romantic era of jolly old England. Prison school! Want to fall to your knees yet? You better. Do you like ecchi anime? Do you enjoy laughing your beans and sausages off? Do you get off on seeing people get beaten within an inch of their life with pure, sadistic enamor by the hands of individuals who love causing pain unto others?
That's DDS.
How about the wacky hijinks and misadventures of a lecherous group of teenage boys? Well, look no further from here, because once you see this anime, I'm pretty sure your needs will be met. And don't worry if your needs sound hellish, because, let's face it, we're all eventually going there anyway. I honestly believe that when it comes to comedy and anime, Prison School checks all the boxes. So, look at it like this. The cliff is your inhibitions. What's at the bottom of the cliff is an abyss of absurd, uncomfortable, crude, and sexual humor that is so well timed and perfectly constructed, it's as if you're watching Michelangelo paint the Sistine Chapel. That is, if Michelangelo was a sex-crazed pervert and the Sistine Chapel was a sex dungeon. Hell, it probably was! Did you see his sculpture of David? You know he was about that life. People may say that goes too far at times. And if you believe that, then you haven't seen much anime. And aren't you adorable? This may be a hard nut to swallow, but their unabashed comedy reminds me of a model prevalent during the Romantic era of literature. That being the ability to embracing the extremes. I'm not being facetious. This whole and a half anime is chock full of romanticism. And the romanticism isn't just affection-based, but has more so to do with the individual, nature, and the imagination. Let's start with the individual. You could say that the whole purpose for this show is for our four protagonists to get a little bit of the sexy time, but here's the kicker. They're awkward, terrible with talking to women. They're confident, but their confidence is solely stemmed from the contents of their lower region. You could see that this has more to do with the individual and what they have to do in order to overcome their flaws. Nature is considered pure, uncorrupted, and is the anchor of our everyday lives. But these perverts are the complete opposite of that.
Lights on at 9, Dingleberry.
But that's exactly why I think they fit so well in this discussion. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, one of the main writers of the Romantic era, is responsible for a poem called Dejection and Ode, in which he uses an excerpt from the ballad of Sir Patrick Spence that states, "We shall have a deadly storm." Now, the storm, in this instance, something that is synonymous with nature's beautiful and destructive acts, is used as a euphemism for his raw emotions. And these four just got raw emotions spilling out of all their orifices, and you can't help but to find yourself cheering on these debauched dingleberries. Imagination is a little bit tricky because everything we read and watch nowadays can be attributed towards having an imagination. And to help me out with that, I'm only going to focus on their escapades. For instance, this story allows us to live vicariously through our protagonists via their imagination. Their actions work in tandem, and in the end we have an interaction that's honestly pure and wholesome with the goal in mind in order to see a wet t-shirt contest. You see? Right there. You thought we were going to end up on a wholesome note? and I put you right back into the smut. That's just mwah!
I thought I told you lights off at 9.
Ah!